Hi folks, Frank Connors, and today I'm reading from Stones and Stories. It's my second book of essays. Hope you have your copy already. The story I'm reading today is called Ticked Off. This one I'm going to dedicate to Nairi. She went for a long walk the other day, and she came home with 25 ticks on her. Think of that. Anyway, ticked off. When we were kids, my brothers and I thought nothing of sitting or rolling in tall grass for hours, of sleeping overnight on bough beds, or walking through juniper-laden fields. We camped, we tramped, we hunted. Not once, not ever, did we give even passing thoughts to a chance of a dangerous encounter with ticks. How things have changed in 50 years. Ticks will inherit our world, I told my daughter Abby and discussed last month. They will. Are we supposed to stop them with daily tick checks? I don't think so. There was a recent news report that said Maine's mighty moose are showing up dead in the woods, driven to a crazed state by a form of Lyme disease. Think about that for a moment. A magnificent moose, maybe 1,500 pounds, brought low, tortured, and finally killed by multitudes of ticks, sucking the very essence from the animal, infecting it, making it crazy, making it ill, making it dead. How do we jump in front of that? Me, I have a tick jar. My lovely, tender-hearted neighbor Evelyn thinks I'm just a little bit morbid and cruel, but my little jar gives me a certain amount of satisfaction. A couple nights ago, a tick transferred to me from our old cat Maggie. I felt the little beast, the tick, land, caught it, pressed it immediately between two fingers, and walked the length of the house just to drop it into my jar. I caught myself smiling as I screwed the lid down tightly. Maybe Evelyn's right. There may be a dozen ticks in that jar already. It sits on a sun-drenched corner of a kitchen window, and nobody touches it but me. There is no obvious food, no obvious water for those ticks once I have them in my jar, and still it takes them 10 days, sometimes longer, to die. Yes, I keep records in my journals. How do people compete with a parasite like that? Jane does consider me some sort of a tick magnet. She tells me so. Fact is, I do collect more of the little pests in a season than she does, but I consider it an occupational hazard. After all, I'm still the gravedigger, lawn mower, and the woodland wanderer. I'm always among the first to readily acknowledge that Jane is ever so sweeter than me. My first duel with ticks comes each year just before Memorial Day. You might all know that I wander the wayside visiting old cemeteries so I can place flags on veterans' graves over in Modenham. This season there were more than 330 flags in 34 cemeteries. 2, maybe 5 of these cemeteries are the garden park variety, mowed and manicured into places of beauty. The rest are precious little plots on the backside of farms, visited once, maybe twice each season by me or some other guest. High grasses, low bushes, these yards are a perfect environment for those sneaking little pests. Ticks hear me coming and they line up for the attack. It's me or them, just like in the old days. Sorry, Evelyn. I'm not stupid. I've learned to wear loose khakis or some other light-colored pants. I tuck my cuffs into my socks and I wear real boots. Shirt sleeves are long, even if it's humid. Belts are tight, even if it's uncomfortable. When I return to the truck, I stamp my feet mightily and look at every inch and every fold in my clothes. Last month, one cemetery netted me 4 ticks. Ticked off, continued. Jane wants me to use DEET or permethrin or one of those other insecticides to help keep ticks at bay. I always resist, saying I prefer to bait them out into the open where I can corner them and kill them. I tell her it's from my old paratrooper training. she's seldom impressed, but my tick body count is always higher than hers. My first attached tick of this season was on my leg no more than 4 hours, and that was back in May. I found it, removed it carefully and quickly. But I can still show you the spot where it bit me. There's still a hard red site. These little buggers are worthy opponents. Worthy or not, I'm not the guy who intends to surrender his walks in the woods for fear of ticks. I'll wait for the hidden advantages each evening of a full-body tick check with my sweet Jane. And if I need to, I'll just get myself a bigger jar. Thanks for listening.